with a guy that I've known for, I don't know, almost a decade maybe now. I'm not even sure, but you know him as Roxy Bernstein. You have seen him as, what do you call those, like a cardboard cutout right next to Dick Vitale, as his Twitter profile will tell you. He's a play-by-play broadcaster, ESPN, ESPN Radio, Pac-12 Network, all that good stuff on Twitter at Roxy Bernstein. Roxy, how are you, my friend?
Zachariah, doing great, buddy. How you doing?
No complaints. Let's start with the Pac-12. Actually, all right, we have to start with Dame. I was going to ask you about the Pac-12. Really a bad year, but I know that you can do everything. You can do pro sports. You can do college sports. You can do any sport. What are your initial reactions? I kind of freaked out when I first saw it because I think that the Bucks are going to kind of cakewalk their way to the finals. But what do you make Dame Lillard teaming up with Mr. Alphabet?
I'm kind of shocked. I mean, I'm kind of stunned at the news. You didn't really hear Milwaukee as a landing spot for Dame, right? We were hearing Miami potentially, then Toronto seemed to emerge as a spot, and now it's Milwaukee. And, you know, you're hearing out of Phoenix that they weren't necessarily going to get rid of DeAndre Ayton, but now here it is. So I'm just trying to digest it all. And there's no doubt Milwaukee, on the surface, you think they won the trade because all of a sudden you're teaming up with Giannis and Damian Lillard, and that's a pretty good 1-2 combination.
Yeah, I mean, there's no really easy transition from that. That news just kind of sprung on us. I wanted to ask you about some baseball real quick. I mean, the San Francisco Giants were just eliminated last night from postseason contention. How do the Giants try and fix this? What do you want to see them attack in this offseason?
Well, the one thing I will say, and I know people are critical of Farhan Zaidi in the Giants front office, they did try to make the splash hires, right? They went after Aaron Judge. They thought they were getting him. They struck out. They went after Carlos Correa, and then the deal fell apart at the 11th hour when it just didn't work and the medicals didn't line up with the money they were going to commit to him. So the Giants have been aggressive. They need to somehow land a free agent, whether it's going after Ohtani here in the offseason, and they're not going to be alone. But this organization, you guys know, they need a spark, right? They need somebody, when you're looking at this lineup, that will invoke fear in the opposition. When you look at the Giants lineup and their big free agent signings last offseason were Mitch Haniger and Michael Conforto, those didn't necessarily pan out. The injuries really hit the Giants hard. But there isn't that jump when you look at the lineup. They need to get an infusion, a spark, something, I think, to reinvigorate not just the Giants lineup, but the fan base as well, because I think they're clamoring for somebody like that.
The well-rounded Roxy Bernstein joins us. Chris Watkins, Zakariah here on Sactown Sports 1140. Real quickly here, I just want to throw this in there because I was a huge fan of Winning Time, and I was pretty heartbroken that they canceled it after 2 seasons. I thought there was a lot more meat left on the bone there. I didn't realize that you were good buddies with Solomon Hughes, who was playing Kareem.
Yeah. Solomon, first off, didn't have really any acting experience.
Huh.
Now, years ago, he played for the Harlem Globetrotters, so maybe that's some type of acting experience. But I thought he was phenomenal in playing Kareem, especially for somebody who didn't have that in his background. Look, he had the things that you look for. He had some of the look because he's Solomon 6'11", and he did play basketball at a high level. But I thought, really embraced the role. He hit Kareem and his personality, I think, pretty well. And I'm like you. I really found this show fascinating and interesting. Certainly, they took some liberties with some of the characters and what's gone on, but it was an entertaining show for me, and I'm with you. I'm bummed that the show is going to get canceled after 2 years because I thought HBO did a really good job with this show.
Yeah, I do too. And I know there's a lot of people that were involved with it that didn't necessarily agree with it. And obviously they exaggerated it. It's Hollywood. But I felt like it was a little bit of a representation of what was actually going on. You know, Papa, our guy Papa, he told me stories about what went down at the Staples Center when Bus was running that thing. So anyways, yeah, I liked it. I was bummed too. I just saw that you tweeted that out. But let's get to college football. I'm looking at the USC Trojans at 8, the Ducks at 9. The Utes at 10, the Huskies at 7, the Washington State Cougars at 16, Oregon State at 19, and you just recently had UCLA and Colorado fall out of the top 25. What a year, Roxy, for them to all of a sudden go from the Pac-12 previously the Pac-10 to now, as my partner has been joking, the Tupac. It'll be the Pac-2 next year. Go ahead. I'm just, the floor is yours. No question there. I just want you to just say whatever you want on it.
Zach, it's sad. I'm sad more than anything. Am I angry? Yeah. Am I ticked off that it's gone in this direction? Absolutely I am. But I'm more sad. You're talking about a league that has over 100 years of conference play with some of the elite athletes we've seen in this world, right? You're talking about Jackie Robinson. You're talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Walton, Tiger Woods, John McEnroe, Arthur Ashe, Alex Morgan. You go on and on and on with these phenomenal athletes and people that have come through this conference, and it's going to be history. Look, if it continues, it's great. But unfortunately, this is where college athletics is heading. And it's dumb, right? When you look at, for example, as you know, I went to Cal. I'm glad that Cal is going to have a seat at the table. But it's moronic that Cal and Miami are in the same conference, that Stanford and Duke are in the same league, that UCLA and Rutgers, Arizona and Central Florida. These are all going to be conference games. How idiotic is that? But that is the landscape, and Zach, it's not about college sports. It's about college football and other sports. And we shouldn't refer to them as student athletes anymore because they're not.
While you're upset and talking about Cal as well, I know you mentioned you're a Cal Berkeley alum. I know my co-host, a Cal Berkeley alum. What are your thoughts on the reports, I guess, that the University of California is trying to change their athletic name to officially to Cal Berkeley? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm angry. I will never refer to it as Cal Berkeley. I will never. I don't care if that's what they decide to go and rebrand it. It's Cal or the University of California, right? You don't refer to it as North Carolina Chapel Hill, Michigan Ann Arbor, Florida Gainesville. No. Cal is the flagship. University of California flagship school is the University of California at Berkeley, right? It should be known as Cal or California.
Makes sense.
I get some people, there's confusion. Oh, well, Cal, I didn't even know where it is. Oh, it's in Berkeley. Okay, fine. We'll do your homework. It's Cal, right? We've operated this way for a long time. California's had a lot of success on and off the field. Let's stick to Cal or the University of California. End of story.
Cool. I want to ask you one more thing before we get you out of here. I saw that you've done a couple of Arizona State games. Last week, they did a really good job offensively against USC, put up some yards on them. I just want to get your thoughts on a guy who used to run the town here, Cameron Scadaboo, formerly of Sac State. What have been your thoughts on Scadaboo's season so far with ASU in his first year there?
He's really good.
Yeah.
And you saw it at a lower level, at the FCS level with Sac State, and you're wondering how it would translate to the power conference level. And I did their opening game when they won Kenny Dillingham's debut as the ASU head coach. And I talked to their offensive coordinator, Bo Baldwin, who was the head coach at Eastern Washington when Cooper Kupp was there. And so I'm talking to Bo about what he sees with Scadaboo, and he says to me, he's got the best lower half in terms of balance and agility with the lower half of his body that he's ever had, and it's right on par with Cooper Kupp, is what he said.
Wow.
And I think that's the highest praise somebody could give a player like Scadaboo, considering you're one of the elite receivers in the game right now. And so when Bo Baldwin said that, I really took notice of it. And you see it. His ability to cut back, the angles he's able to take because of his footwork, it is phenomenal to watch him run the football. And that's really high praise for somebody. I think it's deserving.
Cal, hold the Berkeley graduate, Heisman voter, husband and dad, ESPN Radio, Pac-12 Networks, as long as it's that, Tupac next year. Roxy, you are the best. I could talk to you forever, but we got to pay the bills and whatnot. Follow him on Twitter at Roxy Bernstein. Thank you, Rox.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
There you go. That guy he's great, man. And
That's awesome.
Pretty much spot on it.
We go all around with another guest. The second straight day that it's just we get these guests that they're 5-tool athletes.
I pride myself in trying to find well-rounded guests.
Oh my gosh!
And yes,
just throwing everything at him.
His profile picture on Twitter is him and Bill Walton. We could have literally done the entire segment just on Bill Walton stories. You have?
Yes.
Oh, you have questions?
Yes.
No, he's got the answers. He's got the stories.
Yes.
So maybe we'll have him on again next week. Who knows? Maybe we'll get him like a sponsored spot or something like that. I'm getting in over my britches. All right, coming up next, do you have any tattoos? If not, what would you get? Do I have any tattoos?
Ooh.
We'll ask Chris. We'll ask myself. Also, a bunch of other stuff. Just getting to know you. Fun in the 40s. That's what we do around 11:45 during the week right here. Sactown Sports, Chris Watkins, Zakariah, 1140.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be